Our thanks to God went a lot of take into consideration there as we move into this new phase of operating. And joining me now are One Detroit contributors, Nolan Finley, you read him in the Detroit News, and Stephen Henderson, host of American Black Journal on WDET Radio. Guys, it's great to see you. Nolan, what's going on in your world?
Well, it doesn't change much day to day, but getting very good at technology, much better at technology than I ever thought I would. 2 months ago, if I needed to get on a Zoom meeting, I would have had to call both my son and grandson to get me on it. And
there you go. Now you're savvy. We'll be expecting new backgrounds next. Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I am enjoying the change of weather, and I went and bought new plants to put into the front and backyards over the weekend. Of course, it rained the whole time, so I gotta wait to be able to do it. At least the sun is coming out, and it's going to be planting time soon. And just being able to get outdoors is just an enormous lift right now, given all of the time that we spent holed up.
Yeah, I think so. And it feels like we're moving towards something new and what our new reality is going to be and how we're going to be operating more out in the public as the businesses are opening up north a bit and the curve is flattening even more. Nolan, what do we take into consideration as we kind of go out and we watch how we kind of all emerge, really?
Well, it's a new environment and a new challenge for businesses. And what we have to watch out for, this is not just flipping a light switch. Just because you reopen doesn't mean your customers will come back. And there are many, many restrictions you've got to operate with. You've got to protect your employees, protect your customers. What challenges is that going to present in terms of your ability to remain viable and make a profit and stay open? Will your employees come back? Will they feel safe coming back? There's a lot of unanswered questions here that have nothing really to do with the executive orders, because once you lift them, you've got all of these other challenges you've got to get through.
And have we already changed our pattern of behavior, Stephen, that we already like curbside pickup? We like no contact things. Are we seeing something totally different emerging here?
Yeah, life looks really different, even as we go back to it, so to speak. I don't know that we'll ever go back to everything being the way it was before. I have to admit that there are things about this that are uncomfortable or unusual for me. I have to get used to this wearing a mask thing, which is not something that's familiar to me or particularly comfortable, but it's the thing that we have to do in order to make sure that we're not spreading the disease around. That's an adjustment. I don't have to adjust as much to the staying away from people, because I do that anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of things that are just going to be different. And I think the thing that we need everyone to get their mind around is that they could be different for a really long time. That, like as Nolan says, we're not flipping a switch here. This is a very slow process, and one that we don't really know what the next step or the ends look like yet.
Yeah, and what makes me think about also is trusting everyone around you as well, and not having that judgment of, is that person wearing a mask, or they're going 5 feet, 4 feet closer to someone, they should be staying back, and that hyper judgment of the surroundings, and trusting that people will do and be among the guidelines that they need to do. Nolan.
Yeah, Christy, I think all of the people, including myself, who had serious objections and reservations about the shutdown, now that we're opening, we have a responsibility to protect ourselves and others. I wrote a column Tuesday that, I wear a mask. I don't see a mask as a symbol of anything other than respect for other people and the responsibility I have to protect myself and those around me. I think we should all be wearing masks. We should all be washing our hands. We should do all of the precautions that we've been talking about for 2 months to keep this, to keep the state open, because if we spike again, you can bet it'll close down.
Yeah, because you don't want to get into this attitude of don't tell me what to do, because I know that that's kind of the feeling that I think that we have felt here.
It's a shame, because this is about protecting yourselves. You do things every day to protect yourself and your family and your neighbors. Put a mask on. just wear the damn mask.
And can you trust the information, Stephen, that we're getting? And I think that's the basis also of how people operate. Can you trust what you're hearing?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you're talking to, and I think we've had some real problems at the federal level with the president saying and doing things that contradict the scientists around him. I had a really long conversation with Arthur Kaplan, the bioethicist at NYU Medical School, who has called on scientists and doctors to resign from their government jobs because of the president's behavior. And he talked a lot about how badly he feels trust has been broken by the things that the president has said, announcing this week that he's taking hydroxychloroquine, for instance, which there is no medical backing for. That's made it more difficult. But we also have to be able to trust each other. And that, I think, is going to be where all this gets worked out. If you own a restaurant, for instance, you're going to open up now under really different circumstances than you had before. You can't have tables all sort of piled in together. You have to be able to trust that your customers are going to respect the new way that your restaurant is set up, and that the distancing that they're going to have is going to and that's going to change some of the convenience, I think, that we're used to. And so we've got to be able to trust each other to respect these new boundaries so that people don't get sick.
Nolan?
Well, they also have to figure out if they can make a profit in this new environment. As I said in the beginning, there's no guarantee that just because of your customers come back, your business model remains the same. But I think, trust at every level of government. Well, I think we really have to take a serious look. I think it merits investigation about what's happening in nursing homes in this state and other places in other states where governors issued orders, including our governor, to put people with treated for COVID-19 back into nursing homes. Did that exacerbate the spread? Did that lead to a lot more deaths? We know that nursing homes have been really devastated by this virus. And did that policy contribute? What's going on in the prisons? We don't know enough about what's going on in the prisons in this state. We didn't thin our population. I get emails from parents and from wives, children every day worried about what's going on with their loved ones behind bars. These people are behind bars, but they're still our responsibility, and they're still human beings. And we've done very little to protect them from this virus.
Yeah, and as we kind of go forward and we look to see how things are going to work out, and all of the various things that we have to take care of with money from the state and repair, Stephen, looking at how the budget is going to be breaking down here, and what the decisions that are going to have to be made at the state level.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good picture. I mean, the estimates are terrible in terms of revenue lost because of the shutdown. I don't think we had a choice about those things, and even for all our efforts, we still have this incredible toll of sickness and death that is much more outsized than what other states were looking at. I think I do think the federal government has to be helping states as much as they can. There's going to have to be another stimulus bill that gets through that supports state and local governments. It's not just the state government. The city of Detroit's government is in a lot of trouble financially, and not with a lot of prospects. And ultimately, I think that we are going to have to talk about turning to corporate America and philanthropy. The money that is sitting out there, not participating in easing the circumstances here, is considerable. $4 trillion. For corporations, a lot of money in philanthropy. We're going to have to get that money off the sidelines somehow.
All right, Nolan, you get the last word.
Well, this is the biggest fiscal challenge at the state level that I've ever seen. And I don't know that you can count on the feds coming through with enough money to bail out both the state and the schools. I think it's a $1 billion shortfall of the schools. That will devastate the schools. There's going to have to be some real hard choices made here, both on spending and revenue. And it is vital that the legislature and the governor learn to work together, because if they can't come together and start cooperating, we're not going to get through this financial crisis.
Yeah, and we had just come out of a hole of hard choices in 2010, and we saw what brought there. All right, Nolan Finley, Stephen Henderson, it's good to see you guys. Be well, and we'll see you next week, okay?
Yep.
Sounds good.